What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Patey Pips. I haven't checked out the charts in a month. I've been off the charts completely. I have a Christmas light business I started 8 years ago, and every November is just balls to the walls, go crazy on Christmas lights. It's a blast. Everyone loves Christmas lights. So it's fun, it's profitable, but now it's time to get back to the charts, and I'm really excited to look and see what everything how everything is moved. The great thing about trading is the charts are never going to go anywhere. So once you really get this skill down, you can then go do other things and always come back to trading. So what's awesome about Christmas lights is, number one, I'm going to start a course to teach people how to start their own Christmas light business, because I've been doing it for so long and I can genuinely teach how to do it. I can tell you what the right materials you need to get and all that stuff. But number two, having a small business that can generate you money in 1 month, enough money that you don't have to do anything else for the rest of the year if you don't want to, depending on how your financial situation is. That's a big deal. You're allowed to take lump sums of money and actually invest. The difference between people who have a 9 to 5 job, and I do not hate on anyone with a 9 to 5 job, they have it a certain amount of income coming every single month. And what most happens with most people is their financial IQ isn't up there with their income that they're making. So they'll be making a certain amount, but they'll also spend a certain amount because their financial IQ isn't up there. So the good thing about having a Christmas light business is you get a big lump sum of money every month. And if you get this financial IQ that we all are here for, you're able to move money really differently. So it's pretty cool. But let's get into the charts. This week we have a lot of news, it looks like. Um, this is probably going to be the most important down here, the unemployment rate. So this is what I'm going to be watching for on Friday. This unemployment rate. We're going to have to see what this dude is talking about on Wednesday. And y'all know me, I'm not a big fundamental guy. We know what the fundamentals are doing, but we're not big fundamental traders. This right here is actually going to be important. The GDP, that will be important. So we'll watch for Wednesday and Friday pretty much. The consumer confidence might be a mover. I don't think it will be too much. And then the other currencies, we watch those news events, but I'm usually asleep during those news events, to be honest. I wake up for New York session. All right. So it is basically Wednesday and Friday for the news. Let's get into the charts. All right. So the dollar DXY, let's look at this thing on a monthly just briefly, because we close in a couple of days and we're closing with this type of pattern. I mean, if in 3 days this thing leaves a nasty wick, that could change some things, right? But it's coming into this level right here, pretty obvious level. This is where I do expect some type of reaction, whether if it's just this much or whether this thing continues to go up. But it is still very bullish. And I honestly still do think these highs are going to get hit or at least double topped at some point. I don't think this thing is just going to reverse straight down like this. That's just my opinion. But what we are seeing is, there was heavy supply back in 2001. And we came and tapped into that over here. So price could be getting ready to turn around. We know that the Fed is getting ready to pivot or trying to pivot. They don't want to raise rates forever. That's terrible. But has the problem fixed yet? Not really. So let me turn this off. I still think there is possibility for the dollar to go up. Now, if we're talking technicals, this is what I'm looking at right here. The volume signature is very bullish on the way up and decreasing on the way down. So if this volume at the end of the month is more than the previous month. I might have a different bias, but I'm thinking we're going to get a turnaround on the dollar sooner than later. We can throw this fib on here. It's like a monthly fib. And you can see the 61.8 down here. I mean, you could say it lines up with this zone, but I'm just going to highlight this area right here and call it demand. Okay. So this is kind of a big scale on where I think that dollar is probably most likely going to stop at. There's a couple other spots that we could look. We could throw this fib right here. We could throw this fib right here. Okay, there's a bunch of spots, but I'm going to keep it right here and I'm going to delete it. Just know that this is a 61.8, very interesting Fibonacci zone on the monthly time frame. Now, on this weekly, we have been starting to have a couple bearish weeks after having in so many bullish weeks. This would be the yearly point of control, and we're below it now. So that doesn't happen too often. Excuse me. Where price was, I believe the point of control was way down here. Now it's moved up here. So we're going to have to see what is when we go to the lower time frames to see where these other point of controls are. And let me bring this out right here. Boom. So now we have monthly point of controls. And there's not even one to tap up into up here. That's very interesting. Either way, what I'm seeing right now is most likely the momentum that we have on the dollar. It's either we're about to start the turnaround now, or we have one more move down into this area, and then we're going to turn around. So how I'm going to play it most likely is that one more move down. I'm not seeing any divergence yet. Every wave on the MACD is increasing. So that's a sign for me that there is more downside. The volume signature every time it dropped was pretty good. So to me, there still looks like there's more downside on the dollar. And this price right here, like a straight up 99 or 100 is probably going to be that spot. That's still far away. So let's go into the 4-hour and see where we're really looking at. And for me, this is going to be like the ultimate spot where if price makes its way all the way up here, I'm going to look for it to short. I doubt it gets there this week. And if it does get there this week, that's pretty fast. So, but yeah, this is the only play in my opinion where we had this big move here and then a smack down and a just big drop off. It might stop just right here, right before the 78.6, but either way, this is going to be what I'm looking at. These two levels are going to be the most important levels. Okay. Now, once we go into maybe a lower time frame, there's going to be some other levels that we can play off of. One being right here, even. We might even take a shot before this major level, right up in here, because of this supply, major supply that came in. Okay. That's another level that we'll look at. But other than that, I'm not really fond of trying to buy the dollar into these levels or short the dollar into this level until it gets up in here. So for me, it's got to be, it's a lot of waiting this week, waiting for it to get all the way up in here to short or all the way down in there to buy. Now, there might be some patterns that occur on an extremely lower time frame that we look at. I see that there's still a gap up here that needs to be filled. So maybe on the 15-minute, there might be some moves for a price to come up here. But I'm really going to be waiting on the market to make some type of move. I know AB is most likely, my trading partner is most likely going to be looking at this move right here on the dollar. He likes to play the kind of the double bottom. We call it the AB fib. where if it's not necessarily an impulsive move, but it is still a wave technically, and this extension lines up perfectly with the zone that we're looking to sell off of. So if we can get some type of impulsive move on the lower time frame, then we might start to try to buy this thing up to then short it. So let's see what we got on EU, or the euro rather. So I like to look at the actual euro futures to see what's good. And this is interesting, very interesting. So I am going to delete everything. Remove drawings. But you see, we're right in this zone right here on a monthly time frame, right in the zone where we should see some reaction regardless if it how far it moves. We should see some reaction. And with it being very bearish, this is one of two things. This is either the spring of the Wyckoff, and that was the absolute bottom, or we're getting the break and retest and we're getting one more move down. In my opinion, I do think there's going to be one more move down, or at least a double bottom type scenario. But the price action is saying it could continue up. Just the volume isn't really there with it, in my opinion. So the volume is kind of lacking here, especially last week's volume. Very dry. So that's telling me that we have a possibility to roll to the downside a little bit this week. Either that or just a smooth, straight sailing move up, as in this area has no interest, so we're going to find the next area of interest. But to me, I think there's going to be a move to the downside. And let's go into the daily to kind of see this a little bit better. And this is going to be the spot that I look at for the next swing move on the euro. If it's going to go to the upside, as you can see, it hasn't made a lower low in a minute. So I'm just playing off of the structure, simple structure. If it's not going to make another lower low, this is going to be the spot that I'm going to play from. And I'm going to look for this to be that ultimate swing on the weekly, right? So there's a lot of waiting to do on this. This lines up with the dollar coming all the way up here. So I would need the euro to fall and the dollar to rise. And then I'm looking for the wave, the next wave, right? So if we see this on the 4 hour, you can see that the divergence is present as the market was flat, double topping. The momentum was saying no thank you. So if we can break down, if it can start to impulse down in a way, we might look for the lower time frame move. If it comes up any higher, the divergence fib is what I'm going to have to play for the market to turn around to the downside. So that's something that I'll look at here. And I'm not going to go into the divergence fib too much. All right. So we got some options on the euro. And this is interesting how this monthly point of control lines up exactly with the 78.6 there. So that is going to be the spot. There's also another area right here we can look at, and I'll just copy and paste this, where I would probably take a shot here as well. If I'm wrong there, take another shot at this zone there. So you can't always be right every single time. So you got to have in my opinion, I like having multiple opportunities that if I'm wrong, then I know where I can shoot again, right? For the downside, like I said, it would have to be some lower time frame stuff where if I see an impulse down, I would be able to short it. We can go to the 1 hour now, and you can see how it's starting to maybe roll over to the downside right here. Not making new highs at the bare minimum, this lower low right here. So I see possibility of the structure shift, but it's not clean enough yet, really. Maybe on the lowest time frame, it might look cleaner. But once this breaks, or if it breaks, then I'm looking for this possible demand right here to kick in again in this zone, pretty much. All right. And then the divergence fib up there would be an area that I short from. Let's go to the GBP. Whoa, boy. Look at that. Looks, for some reason, it looked like geometry. It's not. It's nothing. Let's go to the monthly. And this is interesting. They're all doing the same thing. So it could be that spring scenario that I'm talking about on the Wyckoff. You don't really see it like this too often, but I will say it one more time: the volume really isn't there. So we'll see. Give me just 1 second. 1 second. All right, sorry. So let's see what we got here. Let's go to the daily or weekly. And there's a couple scenarios. I mean, you could play the fib way up here, or you could play the fib right here. So that's bringing it way up there, or you could even play this right here. And if that's the case, your entry is now. There's a million places. So I'm not even going to throw a fib up there. There is no point for that. What I'm going to wait for, if this is going to shift to the downside, I'm going to have no part of the top. Zero. I'm going to wait for a clean structure break to the downside. So it's in this area, in this zone on a higher time frame that it has basically held a lot. And then it broke straight through, and now we're right back in it. So we're taught break and retest, but I'm waiting for structure to shift big time. And to be honest, it really needs to shift below here. But I'm going to settle for something like this to shift. And if we get a move like this, I'm going to be all over that. But I am not even thinking about anything other than that. In fact, this is probably going to be what plays out. I'm not going to probably play that. I'm going to wait for it to try to slide through here and then have a higher probability that this is going to sell up here, because I don't like buying through higher supply zones. That's just not my strategy. I do see that could play out because the market hasn't made a lower low in forever. So I'm anticipating the market to make a new lower low. But if it does make a lower low from here, the probability, in my opinion, is greater that we will get this move than the probability of if the market comes here and stalls. I don't think we'll get this just because we're in this zone. So I think it would fail here and we would end up getting this move. So that's why I'm just going to wait for this. And if we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. So I'm basically bearish on the pound, but it's very bullish. So it's more of like an anticipated bearish, right? All right. The Aussie is going to be the one that probably moves the most when it does begin to move up. And in fact, these are all in these areas where they really did hit these swing spots, and they might really be starting to go. But I got to see them like break that structure first, because for however many months they've been so bearish. Let's go to the weekly. And in my opinion, there's just not enough divergence to tell me that this is getting ready to turn around. I think the next move down will probably give that divergence. And that's going to be the signal, the real signal. And so I'm going to stick with that. I do think we're going to get one more wave to the downside. And if it's going to be this little order block or whatever you want to call it, or if it's going to be off of this big monthly swing, we don't know. But I do think there's going to be one more wave to the downside. And it's just going to all coincide together depending on where that fib is going to go. I don't really want to draw fibs everywhere on these. All right, the daily, though, is where I'm going to draw it. I'm going to do it from way up here. And I think this is going to be a very good swing short on any of the Australian pairs. When this thing gets up here, I think this is going to sell off. Let's go to the 4 hour and look to see if there's any divergence. And there is, yeah. So let this thing drop a little bit and probably get up like this and start to form this type of pattern, overthrow that top. The same thing with GU. So I'm kind of more interested to see this kind of possibly swing off this than GU. And then once it swings, this could be a major swing low, but this could be the area that you might want to profit take everything, because it could seriously just from here, because it hasn't put in a lower low yet. But I'm going to anticipate it to do this and then start to do this, sweep out all this liquidity, and then go one more move down and then a move up. I'm trying to go a little faster. Boy, the Swiss took off last week. I am in shock. This pair is a little weird. You can see on the monthly, it has been just kind of ugly. And it's back into this area where we will be able to see it easier on the weekly. Right here, struggle city. So we hit struggle city and we've rejected it, but we have a very bullish candle to mess with, to talk about, and just like a W pattern from hell. So there is nothing in the world that is going to stop me from buying the CHF and probably selling UCHF around this area. All right, so let's go to the daily. 100%, that's going to be the play. This is the best looking impulse, I guess you could say, out of everything so far. And in fact, the volume picking up on this candle is a little interesting. Let's go to the 4 hour, and what I'm going to look at. Oh, I hope it doesn't just drop before it gets here, but I want it to create divergence first and then short into this, because I think it's done going up. So, but that's a long ways up too. So it's I'll mark it off, but I doubt it gets up in there. And then this is the other possibility where it could drop at this fib. Yeah, it already hit the 78.6 perfectly, and now it's starting to drop. So we could already see it start to drop. There is another area right here of high demand where it could get into. So we could see this be another area. And I'm okay with that as well. Probably take a shot here and there, just like all the other ones. And then UJ, or the JPY, my bad. Is it getting ready to move up yet? I don't know. Let's go to the weekly. And at this point, I do want to try to anticipate this low based off of the technicals, right? We're seeing the momentum on a higher time frame start to shift, and there was divergence prior to it. So I do like that. I like seeing that. Let's go to the daily. And what you can see is the slow line, which is the red line right here. It kicks up above zero, and the momentum is the highest it's been in forever. So it kicked up above zero here, but the momentum wasn't as strong. Same right here. Momentum wasn't that strong though. We haven't seen this type of momentum to the upside since way back here. And what happened back there? There was a perfect impulse, retracement, and then it didn't make a new high, but it definitely gave some opportunity. So it's the same thing. We're looking for the exact same thing right here off this impulse. This is going to, I don't love the anticipation of the bottom, but I am looking for that to hold. And then 78.6 right here. This could be another play just above it on a lower time frame maybe. And then the same thing with that divergence, right? 4 hour, same thing. If it makes this move up, I might look to short into it. All right, let's look at gold. Gonna close with a nice bullish candle, but I'm not convinced. Weekly. I mean, if it's gonna drop, it's kind of in that swing zone. Let's look at it on the daily because you can see it. You can see this little harmonic pattern. Right? That's pretty ugly, but it definitely came into this swing area. Let's see if it hit the 78.6. Yeah. And I think it's going to start to swing down. The spot where if it's not going to swing down is where I see it possibly holding, be right at that 1655. And this is the futures market. So bear that in mind. This would be the area kind of maybe that it might hold. But I think if it gets that low, then these lows are in trouble because there's going to be a bunch of people looking to buy right here as it's held once, twice, three times. If it gets this low again, I kind of have a feeling we're taking out these lows. That's just my opinion. I don't love gold. I do not love trading gold. Never have. Might never. I don't know. We'll see. But here's an opportunity right here. Once it does get up in here, to send it down. I'm probably going to look for that move right there. And just a little confirmation with silver. Kind of broke out of this little range that it was in. I'm not seeing much with silver. Let's go to the monthly. If anything, I'm more bullish on silver than I am on gold on a higher time frame perspective, I guess. Macro perspective. And there's still more room up for this to go before it sells off. So what I'm seeing clear as day, and you don't get to see it this pretty, but I think we're going to see something like this. Okay, the divergence is going to appear. This is going to come up a little bit more, make a higher high, but then the divergence is going to appear. So that is going to give the confirmation for gold to drop. I got to wait for this one. Oil back in its area. I'm not an oil trader either. I just like to analyze it. And with it being very bearish still, I would watch out. It has similar looks to this, right? It does. And if we're playing this the correct swing way, which this is not possible. So let's just put this at 0 because it did hit 0 pretty much. That's good enough. we should probably see this thing come back into this level, the 30. And that's going to scare everyone. But we've had it there, had it there. It's been there. It's probably coming back. That's a very far away. So, as of now, as long as there's no bullish price action right here, this isn't going to hold, I don't think. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, we're getting bearish volume coming down below these lows. I think this is going to sweep out big time. So just watch for that on oil. This is the next level where it's probably coming to 60 level. And people have been saying that forever, and they're probably right. All right, the VIX. Let's reset this. And let's go to the month. So every time the VIX gets to a certain point, it basically flashes that the S&P or the other indices are getting ready to turn. And in my opinion, I think this is getting to a level where it's about to turn again. Or yeah, this is going to turn, which is going to turn the other ones. So we have demand, demand, demand. And once we get into this demand again, I feel like we're going to have this bullish move. And what's up? Shout out to Blake coming in. I'm feeling this right here heavy on the VIX, you know. And if not here, then mother freaking right here, right? So regardless, it's coming close to an area where I believe that the indices are going to make a move to the downside, in a big move to the downside. We don't have to go back and see how correlated this is, but yeah, I'm waiting for this to get a little bit lower, maybe one more week, maybe even this week we drop into this. It'll let me go to the daily. Yeah, perfect. It will not let me go lower, but we have this gap here, which would be beautiful to just fill the gap and then go. If it comes all the way down into this level, I wouldn't be surprised, just because there are these like lows right here, but this isn't really a traded pair as much as it is of a index, in my opinion. But we do have divergence right here as well, a little bit of divergence. I bet on a lower time frame there's more divergence. So it's lining up to me for this thing to go, which would mean on a monthly time frame. And I'm just going to put this back on the, let's go to the 4 hour. This thing is setting up to come down already, and it's been setting up to come down for a minute. So I'm keeping this right here. I personally think that the S&P probably has a little bit more room to go. Let's do this to be smart. A little bit more room up. It's going to hit this yearly point of control, which might not even be there anymore. Let's go to a monthly, weekly. Yeah, it's moved. It's moved to here. You see this big node? It was up here. Now it's down here. Yeah, definitely. And that's where that 4130 is where that yearly point of control was. Let's get these out of here. All right, so this is just straight up what I'm playing. 4150 is a limit order for sure. A limit order. You can see the volume is good right here. So that lines up. I like that. Let's go to the 4 hour. Yep. And I'm already getting I'm getting 2 waves of divergence. If it comes down and pops up one more again, which would kind of bring this down and pop up, that would give me 3 waves. That's the ultimate swing signal that I could ever ask for. So that's what I'm looking for on S&P. Now, I'm not sure which one of these are going to look the best. I don't care about this trend line. Dead serious. Let me get this out of here. This obviously could be drawn, and I'm going to put this up here. I like taking just the structure of it. We could obviously draw this from here and could be in the trade right now already. That's an opportunity. I'm just going to, since I haven't been in the market for a month, I'm going to wait for like the ultimate spots. But right now, it is actually in that area. If it starts to break this structure, and if it, especially if it breaks this structure, then I don't think it's going to get there. But let's look at the NASDAQ, and it looks like the NASDAQ has been a little bit weaker. So the stock market's probably getting hit a little bit more on the tech side. Let's see one thing, hold on. Yeah, so you can tell that it's just been a little bit weaker. Let's take all this out of here. I would really like to see this thing come all the way down into here to confirm, but I mean, shit, it might have hit a bottom. I don't think so, though. I do not. And this is I mean, we did have this divergence right here. I would love one more wave down of divergence to confirm it. I'm still in the camp of shorts. This has a long ways away to go to catch up with the S&P. So the S&P from the same swing of Monday the 15th, basically. Let's do Monday the 15th is the same swing. We're far away. So if I'm going to short one this week, it's probably going to be the S&P, but that's kind of showing its strength. What I do like to see is the volume dropping off right here as the market is going up. That is showing that the move up is very fake. Same thing with NASDAQ, volume is dropping or not increasing. So that's good. I want to look at the Dow because this is interesting. The Dow has made new highs from this swing. So we're talking Monday, the 15th of August. This swing high got broke while this swing high isn't even getting close to broken, while this swing high is almost in the getting close, right? 78.6 close. That's interesting. So if I'm going to be honest, this is kind of showing the strength of the market, and we're most likely going to see something like this, guys, which is okay. It would kind of line up with this right here. Selling off somewhere right here, making one more leg down on this, but then having one more leg down on this, but not making that lower low. And that would solidify the bottom of the market. It would. So I'm going to play. We don't know what's going to happen ever, but what we can do is we can just play by the rules. And the rules say that once a swing high gets broken, and if we put in a swing higher low, well, then we can expect a higher high. And I'm going to be playing this right here, straight up. It's going to take a long time to get there, so we don't have to worry about that yet. Let's go into maybe the 4 hour. And all I see is divergence, straight up divergence, hardcore. So wherever this really wants to, whatever it wants to do, I think the other ones are better. They look better, but this has a lot of retracement to go. So We'll see. I'm not going to try to time this one out. I think the other ones are easier to time out. Okay, the bond market. This was a perfect call whenever that was. But let's erase this. And let's look at the bond market because this is interesting. This is where everything is going to really turn around. Man, we're right here. How is it not going to turn around right here? That's the question. Right in this area of supply where we have gone up so crazy, it's got to chill out. It doesn't have to. It should probably chill out. So I'm going to look at the other one in the 10-year. And the 10-year is starting to form a bearish engulfing candle. So yeah, I mean the bond market looks like it's starting to chill out, which means the other markets should start to chill out as well. It's very interesting. You can see what happened right here, though. We printed this bearish candle. The next month it just says "see ya." So I mean, it could very much do that as again. So don't take that for what it's worth, I guess. But I see, man, there's not even divergence on this wave right here. So there's most likely going to be one more push. You see right here, we're coming up a little hair right there. That's good. That means that once this comes into a certain spot, we're probably going to see another move up, and that will bring in the divergence that is going to be needed to turn this thing around. Because markets usually don't turn around without divergence. It's not like the holy grail, but on major moves, it usually has some type of divergence. I mean, just right here, divergence. Let's see, divergence. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through the whole market. There wasn't any right here, or was there? Yeah, there was. So almost every single time there's going to be some form of divergence, and we don't have that yet. So pretty much waiting for that divergence on the bigger markets. Okay, what was I doing over here? Bitcoin, you crazy son of a gun. Well, I'm in the camp of Bitcoin is still coming to 10K. That hasn't changed for me. Let me go to the monthly. Oh, goodness. Yeah. When this candle closes like this, I genuinely think in like 3 days after the month closes, you're going to see 10K, like on some very fast, scary stuff. Um, I want people to be prepared for the market to go below 10K. And when I say prepared, it's hard to be prepared right now to have your money on an exchange because it can just go like that. The exchange can go like that, not your money. It'll be the exchange, and then you'll have to fight with the exchange. So what I'm gonna do is I'm putting a certain amount that I'm okay with losing, and I'm putting it in Coinbase Pro. Or they just changed it to something else. But that's the only company that I trust with limit order. So that's what I'm doing. If anyone cares. 10K is going to be the first position that I stack at. I think it can go lower, and I think it will go lower. I think it's probably going to go to 3K. Why wouldn't it? It's been here before. It could easily come to 6K. So easy, so fast. It's not even funny. Let's see what the overall drop has been so far. Yeah, so we've only seen it go 78%. It's gone 86% before. So if it does 86%, that's hitting 9K, no doubt. And there's nothing stopping it from going lower, guys. I think the miners are actually getting hurt right now. I think miners could start to capitulate a little bit. And if the miners start to sell off big time, whoo, this is the big thing right here. The volume is heavy right here. So with the volume being so big still, you want to see it dry up like it did right here. But this thing is most likely coming down. With that being said, let's go to maybe the weekly and let's look at the probabilities of it moving sooner than later. All right. What I'm seeing is some weekly divergence, which is great. The divergence fib is lying at 14. So there very well could be like a little I would think a little fake move down and then a pop, but then I would believe there would be a big move down. There has not been a higher high created in so long. I don't think that there will be one. And once there is one created, that's when we can start talking about the bulls. Maybe, right? Ultimately, this is our swing high. These are minor swings. This is the big swing high at 48. And until this big guy breaks, this thing is still in a very much bear market. When we go into the daily, these swings mean a little bit more, I would say. But even then, it's still, this is the major swing at 48. Had us back to coming 19 and then sell. So, yep, that's literally what I just drew on my bloody chart. So, very much young Blizzy Blake. Young Blake. I don't know. I think of like young Drizzy Drake every time I say your name, bro. um, yeah, my fib's at 2K, 20K. So it's right there at that same thing. And this is the futures market. So it could be a little different on that other chart. Either way, that's like the same thing on Bitcoin. And then a drop. But that would, I mean, yeah, it's literally what I have. I'm looking at it pretty much like this. I'm gonna draw it with these guys. The backside trend line or the front side trend line. I don't know which one I want to really use and why it's. Did I not draw the right thing? Let's see. No, I didn't. Boom. And then take it. Sometimes I'll just copy and paste. Boom, right here. And then I'll throw it right there. So I'm still looking for this thing to come down a little bit. That would be, I mean, that it doesn't get any prettier than that, bro. If it comes up into this bitch and then falls down and hits the 61.8 like that, I swear to God, at 10K, nah. I'm gonna delete it because it's too pretty. It's too scary sometimes. So just kidding. I'm gonna put it back. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful market geometry right here, guys. Live action. We connected the top points, copied and pasted it, brought it down, and it lines up with damn near everything. Our 10K target, a 78.6 would be right here. We'd be looking for the market to basically come up, tap into the 78.6, hold this nice channel, and then fall into the 10K at the bottom of this channel. Start creating the channel. Who cares? Let it channel out more. That would be crazy as shit if it did that all the way to 3K. We're not going to do that. All right, guys. So let's go to that. And that is the biggest bullish play ever if we see that happen. Like ever if we see a falling wedge happen on a futures chart. Because the other chart looks a little different. I know. This is interesting how this played out and is still playing out, but I haven't been on the charts for a minute. All right. Monthly on Ethereum, we did not break that low as Bitcoin did break this low. So look, if we're being honest, I'm 100% in Ethereum maxi. That's straight up. I believe in Ethereum more than any other coin in the whole market, which means anytime Bitcoin's in a spot where I want to put money into, instead of putting money into Bitcoin, I'm putting into Ethereum. Okay. When I say I'm putting a limit order at 10K on Bitcoin, I probably will have a limit order for Bitcoin, but like usually I'm correlating everything I say with Bitcoin for Ethereum. Now, you can tell that Ethereum is stronger. We have been speaking about Ethereum's strength forever and how it's going to be stronger this next bull run, and it will be. And the macro is showing it. The macro is showing it already that we are not breaking this low yet. It will probably break, but not yet. Let's go into the weekly. And I mean, these lows are probably going to break, guys. Just hear me out. These lows are probably going to break. I don't know when, I don't know how. But once they do, that's probably going to be our fake move to the downside. So we'll take this fib here. We'll divergence fib this right here in 300. No, fam. I don't think it's getting that low. But if it does, by God. Hold on. No, it's not going to drop another 70% more. It freaking could, but I doubt it gets to that low. And I don't even know if my divergence fib would do this. So, but it's possible. Three that I just have to. I can't. I can't. I don't need to think about it. I just if it hits this divergence fib, and there's still divergence on the weekly chart, then that's the best price we will ever see in our history. Forever and ever, amen. Blake says there's so much volume sitting at 200. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to ETHUSD and we're going to pull up from Bitstamp or Binance. Let's just do Bitstamp because I know it's got some volume on it. And let's delete all this good stuff. First of all, there's a ton of volume sitting at 13. Second of all, ton of volume at right here at 250. Boy, I'm talking, man. Let's bring it all in and let's see what we're looking at. Yeah. Yeah, this is everything on the chart. So what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking is that if price comes down in here into this level, anywhere right here, and I'm just going to draw it in right here, this whole thing, and I'll take this out now. That area right there is where we should see bulls step in like crazy. I'm talking, y'all, crazy. And if we get any type of this going on right here, sell your trucks, sell your cars, tell your parents to sell their house. And because that will be the I'll figure out how to make that a portrait because that's what would happen down there. And ultimately, shit, I mean, I really do think that that's what's going to happen. This divergence fib brings it all the way down to 171 on this bitch, but I really see it even more on this. So these are if it does sink like that, it sinks like that. What did it do back here? This is what y'all need to look at because it's already done this once. It was all the way up there and it sunk down 94%. Okay, it already did that once. So it can do 94% again. And 94% would be right here at 275. So that price is money. I'm telling y'all that 300 price range is money. It's done it once. It can do it again. Now, with my theory of Ethereum holding stronger than Bitcoin, it lowers that. It to me, it makes the price go up a little bit. Instead of it hitting that 250 price, I'm thinking that 500 price. And that would just be a sweep out of these lows right into this, right below this demand, right on top right here. And I'll show you all that level right here. This is 500. Let's put this at 500. And that's a smooth price. Like, come on. That's making sure you're getting in your easy price. Oh, I got in at 500. Once it hits 5,000, you 10x. So I mean, it's gonna hit 5 grand again. So 500 is that spot for us, guys. And then I want to look at one more major coin, and I don't know why it wasn't. Maybe it was, and I just missed it. XRP, because it's reacting in an area where I swear to God, if this thing moves off right here, I will not be surprised. Let me go into the daily, and I would really want to see XRP. I mean, the move already has happened. This is where we were looking for buys about a month ago in here. And so the move has already happened. Now it's like, if you're in it, you're in it. If you're not, I don't know if it's going to continue now that we've had this type of price action into the order. So maybe watch for XRP to do one more move down, because if everything moves down, or if Bitcoin moves down, everything's going to move down. It's just how this market moves. So maybe one more move down on XRP as well. And if this thing hits 20 cents, y'all got to buy it. I mean, I'm not kidding. XRP is one of them that has stood the test of time, probably will stand the test of time, and it probably will have a big role in the market once it whoops the SEC's ass. And once that happens, that's going to be very bullish for the rest of the crypto market, because it's going to show positivity in a law in the real world. So yeah, there's a lot of waiting for me personally, unless I'm playing the lower time frames this week. So a lot of waiting. But if we start to see the dollar get into these levels up here, I'm going to be interested in shorting it. And if it creeps down all the way here, I'm going to be interested in buying it. But that's it for me, yo. I'll be back on a lot more now that Christmas light season is wrapping up. I got about 10 houses or so left. And I'll be back on here catching up with the charts more. So I'll see y'all later. Peace out.